I'm Ryan Stevens with the Racing with Ryan podcast.
And I'm Tom Stout with Speedway Video, and this is Do a Burnout.
And we are here today with our very special guest, Justin Otterholt, one of our Spectator racers at the New Smyrna Speedway. Justin, thanks for coming into the show. We hope you like spicy foods, man.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
This is the Green Flag Sweet Jalapeno Sauce. I actually made this one myself. This is the first edition of the sauce.
I like that one. It attacks the tip of your tongue right away. 4 or 5 seconds later, then you start feeling it in your throat and the top of your mouth a little bit. It's got a really nice taste to it along with the little spice kick that it has.
All right, Justin, so the Green Flag is out. We're going to get to know you a little bit here as we eat these sauces. You've been racing Spectator races for about 20 years now. And, I think most people might recognize you with that beautiful orange S10 that you drove for a couple of years out there. And recently, you piloted a red Mustang to victory lane. So I wanted to ask you, what's been your favorite daily driver that you've taken out in your 20 years of Spectator racing experience?
My 1979 Pontiac Firebird. Smoky and the Bandit, but it didn't have the bird on the hood. I had a 95 Camaro Z28 that I raced for a while up in Minnesota, and the Firebird was my main rival. The guy that raced it, his dad listed it for sale one day, and I saw it, and I was, you gotta be kidding me. Got some money out of the bank and came back the same day, purchased the car, and I made some changes to it, put a different engine in it. This was late 2010. What happened was I blew the engine in the Camaro midway through the 2010 season, and I was the points leader.
Oh no.
And right at that time is when the Firebird went up for sale. So I ended up winning the championship the next 2 seasons.
Wow. You guys are bold, I'll tell you that, because we've seen some really cool cars in our experience at New Smyrna. I can't believe what people take out there to race, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if I have a nice car out there, as you've seen with the Mustang, the S10, and so on, my strategy is if I can beat them off the line and get ahead of them far enough, I don't have to worry about anybody hitting me. If you're far enough ahead of them in Spectator racing and they're not afraid to trade paint, but they're way behind you, the only way they're going to do it is with the wall.
That's a good point. What was your catchphrase last time we raced?
Hook and book.
Hook and book.
Yes.
That's it. So where'd that come from?
Hook and book. So I was always known for being the fastest off the line. Every now and then you get a fast all-wheel drive car, and it's hard to beat those off the line, but as far as rear-wheel drive, any two-wheel drive platform, I'd almost never lose off the line. So the announcer's like, man, he's been watching the local drag racing, he sure does hook off the line. And then at another event, someone say, Otterholt's really booking it tonight, so I put the two together.
I like it.
I'm like, I'm gonna hook and book.
Hook and book.
You did the Spectator racing video clip and you put my catchphrase on the thumbnail.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
Pirate's Lantern Bajan pepper sauce. I really like this one, especially because we're using the popcorn chicken. It's a mustard sauce.
Feel free to take as much or as little as you want.
I love spicy. I got my day started off a little earlier, kind of trying to psych myself up for tonight.
Building up
Nice.
the tolerance for...
Yeah.
What my head can't handle is the sweat.
Already. We got him already.
So, you've been relatively outspoken in the Speedway Video comments sections from time to time. Not necessarily on Speedway Video. What is the dumbest thing you've ever seen someone say in a comment section and you were just like, oh my god, I can't let that go, I gotta say something?
Okay, this is actually one of the more recent videos having to do with the March event that I won. There was somebody saying, I think it was about the Corvette, that white brand new Corvette that I raced. Someone said, well god, why is his reaction time so slow? And he must be a terrible driver. And I was like, no. See, in Spectator racing, it's not a drag strip. We don't have a light tree. You're reacting off of a green flag, and a lot of people are not used to that. So I had to comment that and say, okay, you gotta cut the guy some slack because it's probably his first time doing it, and it's a new setting that a lot of people are not used to. Another thing to think about is the front straightaway at New Smyrna is not completely flat. It is slightly banked. So if you're in a rear-wheel drive car, that back end, unless you're on a super sticky tire, that back end's gonna sink down on you, and it's gonna spin for a couple seconds before you take off.
As opposed to a flat drag strip.
Yeah, and it's not a prepped surface either.
Like it doesn't have any sticky stuff. This is the Dirty Dicks habanero base. It's got some tropical flavors, some mango, some pineapple. It's kind of sweet, but it's got the heat as well.
Wow, that is good.
Probably not what you were expecting, right?
No. There it comes.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of turbo lag in that one.
You also enjoy the two-wheel variety of vehicle as well. So what's the craziest thing you've ever done with a motorcycle?
2016 or 2017, I went to the Bonneville Salt Flats and I did a 1 mile run on a nitrous ZX14. And the thing was, there was no prep to the bike at all. It was just as it was on the street, and I clocked 203 miles an hour in a mile.
Oh my! On a motorcycle? That is insane. That is insane.
I unfortunately do not have that on video because I had nobody with me. But
I was gonna say, I was
Yeah.
picturing the cinema of on the Salt Flats. Oh my gosh.
and the thing is, 203 miles an hour, it's crazy enough on asphalt, but on salt, because it's normal street tires that was on the bike. You ease it off the line because you gun it off the line, you're just gonna pop, you're gonna burn the tire off. Then you get up about 80 to 100, then you kind of roll into the throttle and you go kind of full out after that. But at 100, the bike started dancing around.
Yeah, I bet.
At 200, I wasn't driving the bike anymore. It was leading me on the
So
ride.
you're along for the ride.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And
That's crazy, man.
the funny story about that is you get like a safety briefing. Sometimes it's in a group when you do those runs, and sometimes it's single if you missed a meeting or if you're early. The safety guy will talk to you, and he said, if you have a problem, you blow up an engine, something mechanical goes wrong with the bike, you pull off to the right, and that's the signal for them to send you help. Then I said, well, if I go left, flipping end over end, that doesn't mean I haven't had a problem.
Hey, we're halfway there, man.
Yeah.
Cross flags are out. How you feeling?
All right, I'm feeling good.
Feeling good?
All right, Justin. Welcome to the Carnival. This is a lot of Scotch bonnet.
All right.
He's taking it like a champ, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, there it is.
It lures you in a little bit, right?
Kind of like that one where it took a few seconds, but this one's a lot stronger.
Mm-hmm.
This one here is like going into turn 3 and your brake pedal goes to the floor.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Milk.
So if this is something you are interested in, and you tell us, if money were no object, and you could race any weekly tour or local class or whatever, what would you pick?
I've always been a fan of modifieds. He's long retired now, but there was a driver in Minnesota named Mel Wallen.
Okay.
Was my favorite. He was friends with my dad. I would go into the pit area after the races and I was playing his car when I was like 8 years old. And ever since then, I've always wanted one. And I've actually raced in a lot of weekly classes, a little bit here, a little bit there, but I've never raced a modified. And so, I don't know, 602 or tour modified, something like that, but any kind of modified, really. I'm kind of pushing the limit on my parking space already.
I was
Seems
wondering.
like you have a litter to pick from as far as your cars go. So.
Yeah, I've got a Mustang, I've got a Saab, I've got my bike, and I've got that Firebird, but it might be a couple, 2-3 years before I actually refinish it.
Yeah. I heard recently that you were working on something. Is it that Firebird?
Yeah, problem is I had a new engine built for it. I drained the braking oil out, metal shavings in the oil, brand new engine.
Ugh.
Oh, really bad.
And Spectator Racing, you're not sponsored, so it's
That's
all coming
true.
out of pocket.
So if one of the 602 guys came up to you and was like, hey, wheel my car tonight, you wouldn't turn that down, would you?
Nope, in a heartbeat. I'd be like, where's the helmet?
Nice.
There you go. There you go.
I'm like, just give me one practice session to feel out the car, and then I'll be good to go. And that's a question I've asked a lot of my racing friends too. Like, what class would you race if you could? And a lot of them say late models, but see, me and my dad had a late model team. I think it was 2005 or 2004, 2005. But we spent $18,000 running that car for the season, and that was in 2005. So today it would probably be twice that.
Yeah. It might be 4, 5, 6 times that.
We were unsponsored, so it was all out of pocket running the late model. And then we had what was called an American short tracker, which is basically a Bomber A, same, but it was front wheel drive and rear wheel drive cars kind of mixed together. We had an old mid 80s Mustang that we raced for that. We were points leader in that, but they had an engine claim rule. I think it was like $150 you can go and claim somebody's engine, and you could refuse it. You could say, no, I'm not giving you my engine, but then you had to sit out for 2 weeks.
Oh.
We were like, okay, we're not giving up our engine, so, we had to sit out for 2 weeks, and then they had a big like 50 lap race at the end of the season, and so we like, okay, that screwed us out of the championship, but no matter what, we're gonna come back and we're gonna win that big race, and we did.
Hell yes.
We didn't win the war that year, but we won the biggest battle, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, you made a statement. That's
Yeah.
for damn sure.
Be like, this is what would have happened if it wasn't for him. Another fun story about that is at my home track in Minnesota, 2009 was the first championship, Spectator championship that I won. I won every event for the whole season. Towards the end of that season, they introduced a new class of Spectator racing called Outlaw Spectator drags, where you could run slicks, you could have blowers sticking on the hood, didn't matter. It still had to have a license plate on it, but they didn't care equipment-wise what you had on it. I was racing against a Corvette that had enormous tires on all four of it, and I was ahead by 3-4 car lengths going into turn 3, and this is why I mentioned the brake pedal earlier. I went into turn 3 about 80 miles an hour, brake pedal went to the floor.
Oh, no.
So I tried to wash it out as much as I could, but by the time I got up to the wall, I was in turn 4 and doing about 65 when I impacted the wall. My right front tire was up in the firewall.
Imagine.
It bounced off the wall, and I still finished the lap. I came across the line on 3 wheels.
See, he just doesn't give up.
Speaking of, you were thinking the
I
same
was going
thing.
the same way. Speaking of, let's ramp this up a little bit. Melinda's ghost pepper sauce. This is one that I found to be very, very tasty, but also a little bit hot. So I'd love to see what you think with this one.
All right, let's do this.
Oop, Jalokia, by the way.
Yeah,
To get that clear.
slow starting. Great taste, kind of sweet. That's the thing in my experience with the hotter the sauce and the pepper gets, it sometimes takes longer to build up. But once it does, it's like, oh, hello. Woo.
With that said, aside from cars and racing, what would you say are some of your other hobbies?
As far as other sports go, I've always been a hockey and football fan. I got that from my dad. He used to.
Okay.
He was a goalie. He played hockey. He was a goalie. I always been a fan of football. Minnesota Vikings was my team, even though I know the chances of them making a Super Bowl. You know.
Even I know enough about football to get that one.
Yeah, I have a video saved on my YouTube playlist that someone dedicated to the Vikings, and it said, "The Vikings: Legacy of Failure," and it's just.
I'm a Browns fan, so I can relate to this.
It highlights different. It highlights different weird stuff that have happened over the Vikings' history from 1960s to 2020s. It's like, at least we got Frank Arkenton. Go and run the wrong way for a safety.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's something the Browns haven't done. So.
Yeah, and then my favorite one for that though, Gary Anderson hasn't missed a field goal all season long.
So naturally,
and he's maybe 25, 30 yards out.
yes.
It goes way off to the side. And then I know you're getting flashbacks from 1999, but this is a chip shot. You'll be fine.
Was this the Seahawks game?
But the stadium at the time was not open.
They were in the.
It was Metrodome or whatever they played in at the
Okay.
time. They also mentioned that stadium in that video, and they're like, they'll probably demand another stadium in 25 years because birds fly into the glass too much.
Oh. When they built that, I felt like, okay, they're building this because they want to have a Super Bowl there and a WrestleMania there, and then what good is it after that?
Yeah.
Well, the Vikings play there. That's good.
Well, here's the thing. I think it was 2018, we hosted the Super Bowl at our stadium, but we weren't in it.
Puckerbutt Pepper Company, Smokin' Ed himself, Reaper Squeezins. When you get this hot, over 2 million Scovilles, there's nothing fancy. It's just pepper, pepper, and more pepper.
Do you like pepper?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Let's find out how much. Bottoms up, gentlemen. Oh. Perfectly okay.
Good poker face.
I love the taste of Reaper and the sauce and everything. But it's not for the faint-hearted, that one.
No, it's not.
It is still building.
Being around the racing world as long as you have, what is the wildest thing you'd say you've seen at a racetrack?
Going back to the driver that I mentioned earlier, Mel Juan, he was leading, I think it was an extended feature, 50 or 100 laps or something, coming out of turn 4 to take the checker flag. He's leading the race. He got tagged on his rear quarter by the second place guy. And he kind of bounced off of him, went up, and went sideways on the wall. But it was close enough to the finish line where he still crossed the finish line first.
On his side?
On his side.
So just like Corey LaJoy, but in first.
Kind of, but 30 years ago.
He's going for it, so I'm going for it.
Yeah. So no big fights, nothing like that. He just.
Well, I've seen some fights at the racetracks too. There's a couple times where I almost got into fights at the racetrack. Wow.
This one's got you going, right?
Yeah. It was another Spectator race. I was in my old Camaro, 2008 I think it was, and he was beating the back bumper of my car all the way from the start, and he hit me in the middle of 1 and 2 and shoved me up to the wall. Jammed on the brake as much as I could, and I came from me to the other side of that table from hitting the wall head on, and I saved it.
Wow.
And
There's always that one person that's out there in the Spectator race to cause chaos, and you don't want to be matched up with that person.
now I'm digging into the bread.
Hey, there you go.
I don't know about you, but damn.
Yeah. Maybe this could be the part of the video. We do have one piece of chicken left, so with this piece, I can pick out my favorite sauce. I can give you my verdict of my favorite
Which
sauce.
one?
Sure. I mean, hey man, if you want to take another dab after the Puckerbutt, be our guest.
Oh, wow.
I was wondering.
Wow,
Hey, all right. There's
All
an
right.
endorsement.
The
Beautiful.
Hot Lab Green Flag Sweet Jalapeno Sauce is the winner. Man, it makes you feel good. You crossed the finish line,
And I did the victory lap.
and you did the victory lap. So go ahead, do a burnout, give a shout out, throw some thank yous.
I'll be racing at New Smyrna Speedway, family fun night, $5 to get in, bring the family. I'll be racing there every family fun night going forward, unless something with the car goes wrong. Shout out to Big Gravy, because when this airs, you're going to be watching it. Bring some of your gravy. I'll be coming for you.